New from MyProtein, the protein shake that changes the game. Way Forward is better for the planet and fuels maximum performance. It's time for change. It's time for the Way Forward.
Phil Heath, his portrayal in Generation Iron, the first film. I know that Phil was upset with the film. Kai was the underdog, right? And Phil was the champion. But it wasn't on purpose. It wasn't to make him look bad. It just so happened. But like, do you think Phil looked bad in Generation Iron 1, in your opinion?
Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to the Generation Iron Podcast, Episode 1. Over here with yours truly, of course, the founder, Vlad Yudin, and also my boy Ehsan, Generation Iron personal training. All right, we're going to cover as many subjects as you guys want to be covered. Of course, we're not going to cover all of it. This will give us an excuse for Episode 2. Vlad, over to you.
Bro, first of all, you don't need an introduction, actually. Everybody knows who you are. You're probably the most likable person in bodybuilding. I never met anybody that said anything bad about you.
Yeah, like me or hate me, but I always say, if you're going to hate me, that means you love me first.
But did you ever talk to Jay Cutler about that?
I mean, what is there to discuss?
I don't know. What did he say?
Jay, it's mine. It's kind of like, guys like the same girl, one of them gets it, it's like, dude, get over the girl.
Wow, that's a crazy way of putting it. Well, I don't know. I never heard him actually address that.
Well, there's really nothing to address. It's one of those things that it's on the judge's hands.
It is what it is. Yeah.
You take what you take, it's, to just say I didn't win it or he didn't win it, he's not gonna, diminish his goal as a, as a pro, a top tier bodybuilder. So, yeah,
it's crazy, man. But it's interesting. A lot of people said, "Well, why don't you just come back and win it the next year if you deserve it?" And it's like it's not that simple, right? I mean, there's a lot of things that happen from
that was the goal
year to that year. And there's a lot of
that was the goal. That was the goal, and as you heard, that's when I got my knee injury, one of many injuries, and you can't really. Yes, I was planning to come back. Yes, I was planning to come better, bigger, just tore it, man. That's when anger gets the best of you. And God knows by all my court cases, anger is real, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but,
But you never officially announced a retirement, right? You never said, I'm retiring from bodybuilding.
No, people just threw it out there and they said, Victor, retire. I'm like, I guess I am. So I got retired by rumors, speculations, and everything. So I'm like, I guess I'm not wanted.
The last show you did was Arnold Classic, right?
Yeah, it was,
right?
Yes.
2019.
It was the Arnold Classic, 2020.
2020, right before the pandemic.
Yeah, right at the start, yeah.
I remember you got mad at me. I wake up in the morning, right, and you call me or something, or maybe it was somebody else that called on your behalf, and we did an interview or something.
Always mad when I'm dieting.
We did an interview with you before, and it was chopped up into different parts.
Yeah.
One was talking, you were criticizing something, and you're like, bro, I'm doing Arnold Classic today.
Most likely I'm criticizing myself. I'm my own worst critic.
It's something about the Arnold Classic, and the video came out right before the Arnold Classic. You're like, bro, I'm doing Arnold Classic. Why would you put the video out? I'm like, I didn't put it out.
I don't know. It was probably something insinuating.
Something
that
about.
I stopped. I don't know. I'm not gonna remember, Vlad.
I don't remember either. But
I wasn't really mad. I was just was perturbed. I think even when I didn't know anything, I didn't know how to diet. I treated that prep so seriously. My macros. I didn't know what macros were actually at the time. And actually, I never did macros my whole life. But it was one of those things that I never calculated. But I was in the gym day in, day out. I was doing cardio, no heart rate, everything I did wrong. But what was I doing to torture myself? I was in the gym regardless of how tired I was. I was training 6-7 days a week. And it was my first show, and no, it wasn't easy. Even though I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I made sure I needed to suffer a little. And I think that's the key to being in the top.
To suffer.
Yeah.
You gotta suffer.
Being able to push yourself to those limits. Well, the first show was just a high school thing. You know, I mean, it was a show, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't sanctioned. It was just something my friend Eddie
Were you starting
Carroll.
to be a fireman at the time or something like that?
That was way before this one. I was actually 16.
Oh, wow.
I was 16, and they just said, hey, we're going to have a bodybuilding show. I was only doing pull-ups and push-ups back then. I wasn't even working out.
That's random.
And my friend said, man, you look good. You should do it. And at that time, the only thing I knew about bodybuilding, of course, the Olympia because of Arnold. I watched all his Conan movies and all that. But I think it was because mostly one of my friends, Caprice Murray, he was already competing in the ranks. You know, he was junior nationals, he was in the nationals.
What happened to him?
Yeah, no, Caprice retired a while back. You know, we had the privilege to compete in the Metropolitan, which is the first show of the year in New York City. We competed there. And also in the New York Pro. So we got to meet again on stage, and then Caprice is his childhood friend or brother, and but seeing him, I don't think I ever saw him, you know, small, but he was the first person that was actually doing it. It was 2000 Nationals. I remember they announced it, you know, first time Nationals are back in New York City since Lee Haney won it.
Wow.
I think it was 84. Lee Haney won. Yeah. So I had to do it because, well, my trainer was like, you need to do it. You know, your favorite bodybuilder, you know, that was before, obviously, Ronnie, you know, was coming up in the ranks. He said, Lee Haney won this in 84. Imagine you take it. And I was just, that time I was training for, you know, to be a firefighter. And Ronnie St. Cloud, you know, he was doing it as well.
St. Cloud.
Yeah.
I met him while doing the Kai Greene movie.
He was already pro, but he was studying for the fire exam.
That guy's a character, man.
Yeah, we were all trying to just, you know, maneuver life, you know, have a regular job. Yeah. Well, Ronnie St. Cloud, he's...
You know what happened to him, right?
No.
You don't know? You don't know what other career he started?
Oh, the other career? Man, I think that was, if
No,
anything...
I'm not shaming him at all. I'm just saying that it's interesting.
No, Ronnie St. Cloud is your neighborhood porn star. No.
No, for real. He's not joking.
He loves it, though, man.
Yeah.
And Ronnie, you know, I'm not looking at you, bro, but you know,
No, he's
I'm
a great
pulling
guy,
for you. Yeah.
He's a really good guy.
No, he's good, but listen, man, as they say, you know, if you love something, you're not really working, you know. So he's doing it. He's always done it. He always had a passion for it. I'm like, hey guys, you can hate all you want, you know.
Yeah, no hating at all. I'm just saying it's interesting that he was able to. He was a pro bodybuilder and also doing porn, like at the same time. At the same time. Yeah.
Well, he was.
And then he retired from bodybuilding eventually.
Yeah, kind of a renaissance man, his own rights, you know. He did the porn star. He became pro. I think he was already doing nationals.
Too. That's how he met. I think he met Kai through bodybuilding.
Yes, dancing, and he was actually a firefighter as well. Yeah.
You know, in the movie with Kai, obviously, we talk about bodybuilders and dancing, and the fact that Kai got a lot of flack for it. Remember, like in bodybuilding world, but in reality, a lot of people are doing it. Like it's
I did it once, man.
It's nothing to. The point is, it's nothing to look down on. It's something that you know people actually make a lot of money doing it. You know?
Listen, I say do it as long as you don't move like a bag of bricks. You know, if you're good at it. But I did it just because I was lured into it, and my friend needed the money, and he said I need to strip. But I never done it. Will you do it with me? And I was just like, I'll go for the ride.
How was that experience for you?
It's not for me, man. It's just not for me. Man, oof, I'm going to give away my age at this.
2007.
No. Yo, I was 19, man. 19? I was 19,
You couldn't even drink yet.
I mean, I was drinking since I was 15. 13, I think, man. Yeah. We start early in the hood, you know.
I feel like right now, the whole stigma of like what's right or wrong is slowly disappearing, you know what I mean? Like right now you have porn stars having huge social media following.
Yeah.
But nobody's, I mean, people shame them, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's not like it used to be.
I mean, they just won't be teachers or anything like that.
I'm sure some of them could become teachers.
I mean, they could. It depends if they're teachers in Germany, maybe, but I don't know. Yeah, but here it's that double-edged sword, you know.
Right.
freedom to do this, but you can't really do that because
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah.
it goes into ethics and, I mean, morals.
What's morally right? Yeah.
I mean, you don't want a kid Googling the teacher and the teacher's there, fire crotching all over the screen, and then, you're a mother, you're letting your dad, pick up the kids, like that. She's a porn star. There's going to be a lot of issues. There's a lot of issues,
Yeah, for sure.
Because also, religion and all of it, it's just, like I said, double-edged sword. I think the judging is still the same. I think the awareness and the popularity of the bodybuilding is different. I mean, it still happens, where people are not satisfied with the judge's, decision. It still happens, I mean, at the end of the day, and I still haven't seen a perfect judging, and sometimes it does happen in some shows, but as far as different for bodybuilding itself, it obviously is bigger, You can see there's more gyms now. The social media actually changed everything. Now everybody wants to work out because everybody wants to be seen, but not too many people want to compete because, bodybuilding is more known, but there's less people bodybuilding, but there's more people doing other categories.
I remember I did an interview with Tony Freeman like years ago, and he said that bodybuilding judging is bullshit. And he got in trouble actually for saying that in an interview. But what he was trying to say is that the criteria is not clear. What's the criteria, I guess?
Yeah.
Do you see what he's saying, or like?
Yeah, I know what he's saying. I know what he meant, but you gotta it came down to the mass monsters, it was different. I think it was a little bit misconstrued what he's thinking because now you have the classic. So now you can't be so massive and classic because you get penalized.
Well, let's talk about Just Man's Open, for example. Like let's say when Ronnie Coleman and you and Kai were competing versus now, what's the difference in criteria? Because essentially you got to be the biggest and the most conditioned would win, correct?
Usually the biggest.
In the simplest form.
Biggest with enough condition. Condition, I think it went first with mass. Second was condition. If you had enough condition, it just wasn't good enough. That goes back to the '98 Mr. Olympia with Flex Wheeler and Ronnie Coleman, where Flex had the crazy shape. Ronnie had the mass, but he out-conditioned Flex Wheeler by a little smidge of 5-10%.
But because he was bigger.
Yeah, and because enough size, that was enough. Flex had great shape. He was conditioning enough, but once they
But Marcus Rule was the biggest, and he didn't win.
Yeah, because he just lacked that condition.
Right, exactly.
That condition, but he was always, as you saw, he was always a favorite. Came out on that stage, had everybody pumped up. It was probably the most entertaining up there because people, that's what they pay to see.
Rest in peace, lost to somebody 1 year, couldn't bring that size and conditioning together, but
he was there. He was right there, but
1995,
yeah.
What year did he pass away?
2001,
2000. Yeah. A long time ago.
at the 53, I think.
No, I think it was later. Yeah, later, only because I still remember him backstage at the 2004 GNC Show of Strength.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We gotta look that up. We gotta.
Yeah. It has to be
You knew
definitely
him?
later. Yeah, no.
He was during the Ronnie Coleman era, right? At that time.
Yeah. Ronnie Coleman, right in the beginning, and he could have definitely get him a good run, And he was big. He was right there. I think he would have focused on his condition a little bit more. I think he would have definitely got one, but he just kept putting out muscle. Nasser was one of these guys. He just had those genetics that could put on muscle very easily.
Well, I think that's what Nick Walker is doing right now.
Yeah,
because
Nick Walker is one of those guys now.
he's chasing Big Rami's size. So it's like people saying, why is he getting so big? But what we just talked about right now, if you want to defeat Big Rami, you have to put on size. You can't just be the most conditioned guy on stage. You're just not going to win. Do you agree with that?
No, it was a condition you had a triple, should be one.
Well, exactly. So, but Big Rami's going to overpower him.
Yeah, Rami's just got some big muscles, and he's got some great shape, and you gotta have enough size to stand toe to toe with him.
Right.
And Nick is just, he has such a small frame that he's got to, he's got to be careful putting unwanted muscle.
But he has to.
I mean, he has to, but your frame can only hold so much before you start losing your aesthetics. And again, it has happened. I've seen that with some guys. They just keep going heavy, and they just start, getting that deformity where you start losing the shape, the waist, shoulder to waist ratio, But Nick, he's young, he can still do it. But
How was your
Bianca
last
still
show?
hang.
2020 Arnold Classic, the last show that you've done.
Yes.
How was it for you?
No, it was good. I mean, I did not push like I wanted. Obviously, it was kind of like one of those flukes where one of my clients at the time said, you can't compete no more. And
Wow.
I'm like, what is this, man? I can compete in my sleep. So right. I said, listen, you give me 20 grand and I'll do the show. And he said, here's the money, and I did the show, But can I compete? It's second nature. One of those things you love, you want to do. Can you do it? I love the dieting. I just love the whole grind. Yeah.
So Masters are coming up, I think next year, right? Masters? Romania or something they're doing in it? It's coming back, basically, the Masters Olympia.
Masters.
What do you think about that?
I mean, they keep talking about coming back, but I don't hear anything about money or anything. So
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. What are they giving me? Free memberships to Planet Fitness?
How much does it cost to compete at the Arnold or like pro show level? How much does it cost?
I mean, I've done it for.
Like a ballpark figure.
It's just, you got to remember, a lot of factors play into it, taking care of your family being one of the main reasons.
While you're training
while you train. So you got to be able to sustain a household while you prep and focus. So what does it take for you to focus without distraction? So that's really the question, and it varies from person to person. I could say somebody right now has no kids, no wife, no girlfriend. He'll probably get ready for, $8,000, Bodybuilding is you always lose money. You always lose money.
It's not a winning show.
Yeah. You get money in other ways, It's got to be, you won, you got sponsorship, endorsement, you won, you get the first prize. It's different, Now, you trickle down from second, third, fourth, fifth. I mean, now that's where the real losses are, really noticeable. When you spend, even when you spend $5,000 at a show, it's not much, but then when you
it's still
get
$5,000.
fifth, it's $5,000, you get fifth place, you get $2,000, Then you pay taxes on that. You're lucky if you go home with kibbles and bits. You got to be realistic. I don't want to give you smoke and mirrors. If you ask the question, that's just a fact. It's going to cost a lot of money and also time that you won't get back, from family, So you got to love it. It's got to be pure love. There's no, I'm going to do it for experience. It's going to be a costly experience. So, I mean, again, you got to know why you're doing it, and you got to know the payout that you're going to do it for, not just the expected, check, Don't compete with expectations. Just, with your own drive, with your own purpose, and that's it. If you're focused on trying to make the money, you're doing it for the wrong reasons,
Are you inviting your boys to bodybuilding?
I did not. I think my son literally just gravitated himself to it. Just him seeing me. I don't know if it was me really, because he just likes working out. Loves working out. He lives with his mother. He lives in Pennsylvania. She got remarried, so it's like one of those things that I didn't take him to the gym. He's 22 now. Actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he just turned 22 in September. Yeah. He works for the Eagles, which is great.
Really?
Eagles are doing good. Go Eagles.
Nice.
I'm Giants, but I have to be Eagles because of him. You can't say no. You can't say no to your kids.
Well,
I mean,
it's an extreme
now if
sport.
it was
Actually, he's right. It's an extreme sport. I mean,
Extreme sport.
it is extreme, but I wouldn't deny him, because I always try to teach my kids, choices, unless it's my girl and it's a boyfriend, I'm like, no, don't do it. No, but you want to, encourage them. If he says he wants to do it, I can't, I'm not one to sway him. Oh, man. Boys are easier, man. You slap them up, punch them a couple of times. Shut up, boy.
you can't
the
say things like this anymore, man.
Yeah. You don't
gotta
want to
be careful.
traumatize a girl. You don't want to scream because you get that one guy that treats them good and they're better than the father. You're done. You lost
Really?
them.
That's how it works?
Yeah. So you want to spoil them enough. You want to be their first love. You want to be their first love, and that's it. And on most situations, when you're arguing with her mother, you want to become Switzerland on that. Because you want them to pick you. But again, you can't raise them on a bubble either.
Right.
They're your kids.
How you come to this sport? When? How?
Literally from the first film.
No, Vlad did great. I think he approached it the right way. I remember he's going around asking people about being in the movie, and man, I didn't think I was going to be in it because of that little stint.
I fought. I mean, you know that.
Yeah, you did.
I made
you
sure.
did,
I made sure that Vic was in the film because thing is, back then it was very segmented. It was.
Who didn't want me in the movie, Vlad? You don't have to answer that.
No. So back then it was Flex team, and then it was MD. You were part of the MD team.
Yeah.
Our partners in the film was
Flex, I mean, the video, yeah?
Weeder. But it wasn't. Weeder already sold the company, but it was a corporation.
Yeah.
And they were like very territorial. But I convinced them to obviously have Vic in the film, as well as Dennis Wolf, also Team MD.
Yes.
Branch Warren.
Well, Steve actually gave many of us that ability to continue our careers. That's
Yes.
it's not about, I mean, yes, there was Team Flex, but I think it was wrong for them to just, try to keep only their athletes because.
But the point is, we're convinced. Like we made sure that it was actually a bunch of people from Team MD, and it was we put, and also Hidetada was
Yeah.
MD as well.
No. Again, thanks to Steve because man.
He also allowed it too.
Yeah.
Because back then they were like, it was so weird to me. I'm like, what are you taking pictures for magazines? What do you care? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't understand the whole exclusivity thing. I didn't understand it. And social media destroyed all that bullshit because, think about it, you take pictures on social media, what exclusivity are you talking about? You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah. Battle of the publications.
It was the stupidest thing. It was the stupidest thing. But I want to end the conversation with this, right? Phil Heath, his portrayal in Generation Iron, the first film. I want to get your opinion on it because I did a Hani's podcast, which he does, called The Truth. Great podcast. Hani lives in Dallas now, actually. It's a great setup over there. So we did an interview, and I know that Phil was upset with the film after he got, like, fans who were, like, because the thing is, like, Kai was the underdog, right? And Phil was the champion. So obviously a lot of people gravitated towards Kai's story. But it wasn't on purpose. It wasn't to make him look bad. It just so happened. But, like, do you think Phil looked bad in Generation 91, in your opinion?
It wasn't looking bad. It was just one of those things like you just said. It was, you have the champion, right? He's already the current champion. He has, this charisma, this drive, this confidence to win the show again, and nobody's better than me, I can do this, and then you have, which, not to his fault that he has to prep with that mindset, Of course. Then you have Kai, you have Kai, dark, riding the subway, the
mysterious.
Yeah, they're the mysterious, so the portrayal that Kai put out, and I'm not saying none of it was true, none of it was this or any of that, but the portrayal that he put out for everyone to see, you have more sympathy for it.
Sure.
So the sympathy, people tend to be very sympathetic. So when you use that on film, and that's what people see, people are like, oh my, I'm touched.
Right.
You know, it gets to the core of why they want to relate. It became a good underdog story.
Sure.
You know, and is that wrong? It's like, no, it's like, that's the magic of film.
I personally like characters. I personally love the way Phil was in the film.
Yeah.
I loved his confidence. I think people mistake his confidence for arrogance, which is
Yes,
which is stupid to
That's
think.
what
that.
exactly what it was. Yeah.
But I like characters like Mayweather. I like characters like Conor McGregor. I feel like they sell the event.
People like the good rivalry. It's kind of when they have the press conference in the Olympia and they're like, oh, no, you look great. No, you look great. Nobody likes that.
Nobody likes to see that.
You know, there's a whole list of who could have been Mr. Olympia that we can discuss down the lines. But Kai is one of the greatest bodybuilders of our time.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know, but Phil Heath did get a bad rap for Generation Iron, and I think it was, you know, I say if any Olympias could have been challenged or one of those real close ones where Kai could have, was probably, was it 2014?
The last one.
Yeah, I would say 14. 14, and I would just say, you know what, look at that Olympia, and even look at Spain. When we went to Spain, Arnold, Spain.
Oh my God.
Look at pictures of Spain, you know.
won that show.
No, not that one, not 2014. I think Phil got that one. Yeah.
Phil got it. 14, Phil got it, yeah. You got it in
Yeah, I got the 11. I got the 11.
Oh, 11.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah, so that was when Dexter face-off. Yeah, it was great because Dexter was like, oh man, I don't want to pose no more. This is my chance.
I think that was a great conversation.
Yeah.
It's time to actually do some working out, yeah?
Yeah.
I think the first episode.
Episode 1, Generation Iron. Till next time, episode 2.